Hello all, and welcome to this presentation. It's going to be about how to prepare yourself for a future career. My name is Abdullah Antijani. And I am an HR specialist and talent acquisition specialist with an experience of over a decade in this field. Before I will start the presentation, I would like both of you to introduce yourself. Please tell me your name, your education and major, and your profession if you are either a student or an employee.
Okay, I will go first. My name is Abdurrahman. I've graduated from King Abdulaziz University as a human resource management. I have an experience within the HR field for around 4 to 5 years.
Thank you, Mr. Abdurrahman.
Thank you.
Okay, hello. My name is Ahmed Bukhari. Graduate from King Saud bin Abdulaziz University for Health Science. And now I'm working as a medical intern.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ahmed, and welcome both of you for this presentation. So to kickstart the presentation, we're first going to look at those topics. First of all is the differences between a resume and a CV, structure and information to include in your resume, styles of resume, what to avoid when preparing your resume, applying for a vacant position, and lastly, preparing for an interview and what to expect during the interview. So we first need to distinguish between a CV and resume. But before I go further, I would like to ask both of you, Mr. Abdurrahman and Mr. Ahmed, if you could please tell me what's the difference between a CV and a resume, if you do know. Mr. Abdurrahman, if you could tell me the difference, if you know the difference between a resume and a CV.
I think he's mute.
Sorry. Yeah, I was mute. Okay, I guess I have an idea. Maybe the resume, we can say it's more professional. It's something provide to the college or the academic careers. And the CV
Okay.
is something for job implementation, vacancy, something like that. I'm not sure.
That's mostly correct. Okay. Mr. Ahmed, yes, go ahead. I can see you're raising your hand.
Yes, for me, I only know that I should include a cover letter or personal statement, but truly don't know which one to use.
That's mostly correct as well. Well, thank you. We will see now the difference between a CV and resume. Both of you are correct, but we are going to distinguish which one is which. We will start with the CV. CV is short for curriculum vitae. CV showcases the entity of your academic or professional achievements. And CV is typically detailed. Sometimes this goes for several pages long, commonly from 3 to 10 pages. Believe it or not, we in talent acquisition do receive academic CVs that reaches up to 10 or sometimes 15. For people who have more than 15 to 20 years of experience, their length of CV could reach that number. And as Mr. Abdurrahman stated, that CV used almost exclusively to apply for an academic job in the United States and Canada. And sometimes CV also is used when applying for a research positions. And for the resume, the difference is provides a quick overview of your work history, education, and skills as resume relate to specific jobs that you are applying for. For example, if we are in HR field, we're applying for a position, engineers or IT, we usually, our documentation is called resume. And resume typically only has 1 or 2 pages long, and it's used bullet points to present your skills or accomplishments. and it's used, as we said, for all other jobs, applications in the United States and Canada. Next is going to be the structure of the resume. Usually their resume or CV contains 6 main topics. First of all is your full name. You should write it here in clear font. Next is the personal information. You should state your contact information, date of birth, and also LinkedIn, because it's a professional website. Next is a summary. It's a brief of yourself, your experience, achievement, and what position or function areas you would like to apply for. Next is the work experience. You should list it here. And in the work experience, you should state your title, employer, or the organization you work at, days of experience, and highlight your tasks and achievements in numbers, not just statements. Meaning, you should here, first of all, you state your title, under you state your organization or company you work at. Here at the left or right, you should state your dates, your working dates. You started from which date. If you are currently working, you should state until now or present. Then you state your job duties, and as I said, it is preferred to state them as achievements. If you have more than 2 or 3 experiences, you should list them from new to old, as stated here, 2015 until now, 2007 until 10, and etc., etc. After that is the education section. In the education, you should state your level of education, either diploma, bachelor, or master, your major, the name of the university or college, GPA, and lastly, the year of graduation. Last section is the skills, either soft or hard skills you gained. For example, if you have any computer skills, languages, management skills, leadership skills, and etc., etc. Yes, Mr. Ahmed, please go ahead. I see you raising your hand.
Yeah, I have a question. Since I'm in the medical field, we are required to get a lot of professional certificates, such as the Basic Life Support, BLS. For that,
Correct.
where do I put it exactly?
Well, that's an excellent question. Thank you for that. You could add them under the education in this section here. After you state your bachelor degree, under that you should state other professional courses or license that you had gained. And I should note, when you list your professional courses or licenses, you should follow the same pattern or criteria you stated your education certificate. The name of the institution, the name of the course, the date of the graduation. And I believe for the professional licenses such as BLS, if there is an expiration date, you should also list that. You should also state that in the resume or CV. So next, we are going to move to the styles of the resume. There are different styles of resume, but they all serve the same purpose. They show down your experience, your skills, and your education. Those 2 types of resume is just examples, as it shows that both similar in addressing in the left side the personal details, the address, for example, the phone number, contact, and etc., etc. And in the main body, it states at the top the summary, then the experience, as stated from the newest to the oldest. Then it mentions the education, and under that, the skills. And in this samples at the bottom, it says the references. You could state here if you have any supervisor during your project, or for example, for Mr. Ahmad's case, if he works in a hospital, you can state the department head. Of course, first of all, you need to take his permission or her permission to put her or his name in the resume. And also, I should note that since all applications nowadays are done electronically and done through a system called applicant tracking system, I believe Mr. Abdurrahman, since you are in the HR field, you know what the applicant tracking system is. It's preferred to not using any special fonts or special colors in your resume or CV. And when you're stating your experience and education, state them as clearly as possible without using any special fonts and special dots. Because if you are using that, the system, because it's a computer, it cannot read special font and special images or icons. If you are doing so, the system will automatically disregard your application. So keep it as simple as possible. This will increase your chance for the application, for the system to pick up your application, your resume. It will be easy as well for the HR to read your application. So next, I'm going to show the things to avoid when preparing your resume. I'm going to go them through quickly. First of all is spelling mistakes, grammar mistake, inappropriate personal photos, general information. And what I mean is general information is not writing little bit details about your responsibilities or what you are doing right now if you are an employee. Not providing official documentations, meaning some candidates put some information in their resume, but they don't have the documentation for that. So try to avoid that. If you don't have any documentation for an experience or a volunteer or a course that you gained, if you don't have the certificate, don't put it in your resume. And lastly is abbreviation. Abbreviation is short names for the course, for the project, for the college that you studied at. For example, if we are talking, let's take the BLS, as Mr. Ahmed stated. If you are not in the medical field, the HR or the manager will not understand what BLS stands for. And also what's called ATS, Applicant Tracking System. Mr. Abdurrahman knows what ATS means, but Mr. Ahmed, since you are in the medical field, you don't know what ATS stands for. So it's better always not to use abbreviation. Try to put the whole name in your resume. The next slide is going to be applying for a vacant position. After you successfully constructed your resume or your CV, now you are ready to apply for vacant positions. And when you are applying for a position, try to carefully first read through the job responsibilities and understand the duties. 2, make sure you meet the job requirements for the education, experience, and others. It is also always not preferred to apply for a position that is higher than your application or lower than your potentials. So when you apply for this position that you are fit at, the system will pick your resume, your application easily. Then try to read about the company or the organization that you apply to, because in case you are going to call for an interview, you are going to be asked for what do you know about the organization or why you're applying to us. Lastly, try to know the announcement closing date. It is better to know the closing date so you can follow up with the HR or the recruitment department. After the closing date, you can ask about your application. So the next is the interview. The HR department is going to call you for the interview, and you should know what to do during the interview and things to avoid. And before I start the slide, I would like to ask, first of all, Mr. Ahmed, since you are fresh graduate right now, and believe that you are applying for vacant positions in different hospitals. I would like to ask if you have ever attended an interview, and if so, how did you prepare yourself to attend the interview?
Okay, I've attended a few.
Okay,
Before I go to the hospital or that organization, I read about it, make sure to know simple thing about the place I'm going to. I make
correct.
sure I arrive on time, and I always bring a document with me, my documents.
Perfect. Okay, that's a good movement. And also, Mr. Abdurrahman, since you are in the HR field, and if you have any conducted any interviews to applicants, if you have any observed any mistakes that candidates do during the interview.
Actually, I have noticed many.
Mhm,
Let's say I will give you some examples. First of all, not attending on time, which is
mhm,
the most common thing. Second, we have the uniform. Some of them are not coming with the proper uniform.
mhm,
As long as we're living in Saudi Arabia, the traditional uniform is the suitable uniform for attending the interviews. Some of them
correct.
just coming with a regular pant or let's say
Ca-
he's
Casual
not showing
clothes, yes.
casual, too casual. He's not seems like uh, he's take it on a serious level.
Serious or
Some of
professional level,
them
yes.
exactly. Another thing we can call it the unprepared. As Mr. Ahmed have mentioned, it's a good from him to prepare before he's attending to the interview, reviewing the company or the organization profile, have some idea about it. Many of them
Correct.
not prepare for them for such a thing. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Both of you gave very accurate and live action situation that candidates and sometimes the organization faces. So first, we're going to take a look at things to do in an interview. First of all, you should know what's in your resume. What I mean that sometimes we face candidates, they don't know what's written in the resume. It gives an indication that he or she did not write their own resume. Someone else wrote their resume. So when we ask them during the interview, they stumble and don't know what to answer. Second is to be calm and confident. Try to be calm. This will give indication that you know your skills and know you're knowledgeable about your experience. If you are a fresh graduate, try to give details about your graduation project or training. If you are a person with an experience, try to give more details or elaborate about your experience, your project that you had done during your experience. And last point is to highlight any achievements you had done during your career, if you are a personal with their experience background. What things not to do in an interview? As Mr. Abdurrahman said, not to follow the dress code, show up not in an unprofessional appearance, not bringing copies to the documents during the interview, as Mr. Ahmed stated, not knowing the position or duties you are applying to, because during the interviewee or the head of department is going to ask you what to know about the position you applied to. Next is the body language. The last is unaware of the organization background. And also, I should mention, as Mr. Ahmed said, it is also always preferred to show to the interview before the time scheduled. If you are scheduled for 2 p.m., it's always preferred to show up 10 to 15 minutes early in case you get lost in the way. So the next is going to say, congratulations, you have been selected for the position you were interviewed for. What to expect next? There are several steps organization take. First, they may or may not be some extra testing after the first interview, but this is optional. It depends from position to another. But usually after the interview, and if you are selected, The HR is going to send you a job offer. The job offer will state the position you were selected for, the details of the salary, and if there are any other benefits, it will shown in the job offer. Next step is for the HR to seek approvals for your application from the higher management. The next is going to be medical examination. So for the organization need to know if you are medically fit to fulfill that position. And lastly is for you to join your work and sign the official contract. So that's my last slide. Thank you for attending the presentation. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. The mic is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Abdullah. It was clear actually for me having an overview about the recruitment process. I might have a small question about the resume or the CV. Is it necessary to go? Is it necessary to be at that sequence that you just mentioned, or it's just a content I have to be sure that it's already existing within the resume or the CV?
Yes, good question. It can be interchangeable. The examples that I have shown, you can first of all state your experience, then you can state your education or other certificates that you had. This sequence is for a person who has experience, but for a person who has no experience or a fresh graduate, such as Mr. Muhammad right now, he just graduated from medical school, he should switch the sequence. He should first mention his education, then he should state the training, co-op, or other volunteers that he had taken. That's an excellent question, Mr. Abdurrahman. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, or Mr. Ahmad, you have any questions you would like to ask?
Thank you so much. This is well-informed presentation, and I think it would help me a few months later.
Thank you both for attending the presentation, and I wish you all well for your future career. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.